them, literature. So literature is all on this hand right here. What's literature? Everything that's written down. So let's see. Harry Potter, that's literature, right? Spider-Man, that's literature. The Bible, that is literature. The Quran, that's literature, right? We understand all these things are called literature. Then you have facts or historical evidence or reality. Now, if literature is going to be proven to exist or be real, it has to line up with reality or historical evidence, correct? Otherwise, we don't know what to believe. How do we know it's not just written? So the Bible is written, of course, but you can't justify the literature with the reality or with the evidence. So you can go around looking for these people who so-called existed in this Bible, right? But you can't find any of them. So you can't verify that with reality. So that's why it's accepted on faith. But I want to talk about something today. Just to start this off, how do we realize it? I gave a little scenario or an allegory or an example a couple of shows ago, and you guys commented on how much you loved it. And someone asked me this particular question, and I addressed it there. But for those that didn't see it, let me explain. Okay, let's see here. You see all these clocks behind me. So this is up for this particular purpose, just to set this straight or get my plane set. If everybody in the world had the wrong time on their clocks, correct? Let's see here. If everybody in the world had the wrong time on their clocks, it's not playing. Maybe it is, it's just going slowly, okay? So if everybody in the world had the wrong time on their clocks, how would you figure out what time it is? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know how to tell what time it is because everybody's clock is wrong. So unless you're going to break open the whole clock and try to figure out what's wrong with it, now you got to figure out what's wrong with everyone's clock. Now everyone's clock is wrong, so what do you measure it to? How do you know how to fix the time and actually have an accurate time to what the time was before? How do you do that? Well, you can't just continue looking at the clock, right? Or continue looking at the time. You have to understand how time was first created or the origin of how time is kept. So we understand that time is not what you see on your watch or what you see on your wall. Time is not a real thing. It's a concept, okay? It's what we use to map the sun. So this is time. It's not necessarily what we call time, what we keep on our watch, but understand that a deer doesn't care about what time it is. You know, an alligator doesn't care about what time it is. We care about time. Now, understanding, if we don't have the time, we have no way of finding out, what you then have to do is you'd have to look a little deeper. Again, back to the origins of how a clock was created so you can find out. So just travel with me for a moment. We're going to go back to the beginning of time, or what I like to call zooming out. And what they used was a sundial. Now, this sundial had 0 mechanisms, right? 0 mechanisms making it work. The sun did the work. What a sundial was used for was to map the sun, to see where the sun was. Now, every animal, every creature in nature understands the sun and how it works, but they don't use clocks and watches. So don't think that the only way you can keep track of the sun is because you have time. So understand this. Don't believe that you have to keep track of God through literature. The same way, if you understand the origin of religion, you understand it comes from the same thing that keeping time does, mapping the sun. So this is a sundial. We know how sundials work now. If you can understand the sundial, now you can get back to understanding how to fix the time. We didn't understand anybody's time to be right. But now you understand time is kept by mapping the sun. And like I said earlier, religion and all these other things map the sun. But is that too crazy to believe? I'm just going to show you a couple of pictures here, and I want you to notice this sun directly in front of the crucifixion, right? Now look at the sun. Surrounding it is what we call the zodiac. We know the zodiac are the animals of the stars or the celestial signs in the sky, right? Zodiac comes from the word zoo. So when you say the zodiac, let's say the word anthropomorphizes when you give say a tree human characteristics, right? Well, when you give a tree or anything animal characteristics, it's called zoomorphized. So basically what the stars are is they have been zoomorphized into animals, okay? So this is what you're seeing when you're looking at the zodiac, which is why it's called zodiac, zoo. It comes from the word zoo etymologically. So again, you're looking at stars in the sky, okay, that when you shape them out, you get these images. All right, so that's what you're looking at. So now you're looking at the sun surrounded by the celestial bodies, or 12 zodiac signs. Here we go again, the sun surrounded by the zodiac signs. Now you start to see this depiction of what appears to be Jesus surrounded by animal zodiac signs, not disciples. You know, you see this character in here with the right hand raised, the same way you normally see Jesus depicted, correct? The halo behind his head, you see the rays of the sun behind him, and yet he's still surrounded by the zodiac sign. Now, obviously, this is just a painting. This doesn't mean that the Bible isn't true, correct? So let me just first say that. This is just a painting. But we have to understand, where did this come from? Jesus had 12 disciples. There are 12 zodiac signs surrounding him. And look at this character. So let's just look at this before we say we're jumping to conclusions by assuming this. What if the Bible is in fact mapping the sun as it goes through the constellations? Let's look at it. Here's another depiction of Jesus. And look around him, you see the 12 disciples, and outside of that, you see the exact zodiac signs that we use today. You see Jesus surrounded by the 12 disciples, or disciples, 12 disciples. Notice there are discs around the heads of the disciples here. Sun discs. And this is where you get the name disciple. It's not disciple, it's disciple. So they represent the 12 zodiac signs. Here we go again. And you guys can see in this depiction here, the zodiac signs to the far left there. Here we go again. That's definitely what appears to be Jesus or Jesus, correct? So is it possible that the Bible could really literally just be mapping the sun as it makes its way through the zodiac, right? Or through the heavens? Look at this. This right here is a depiction that comes from Rome. This is the sun. At the bottom of it, it has 3 angels. Now, if you count around it, you're going to find 9 angels, which would make that 12. Okay, so now if you count around it, you got 9 angels. Then the 3 makes that 12 angels surrounding this IHS. Now you see this cross in the middle of it. Now many people say that the Bible definitely is not talking about Jesus is the Son, S-U-N of God, rather than the S-O-N of God. It can't be, no way. But let's look at this. That says IHS. Now, many understand that the name Jesus comes from the name Jesus. In fact, Yeast is the reason why Yeast was what they called the sun, because the sun, it goes up and down, appearing to make a nodding look, because it goes up and down daily. Yahweh, yes, Shua, right? Jesus. And then you have Jesus, of course. And now, if you ever hear someone who speaks Spanish, that's their main language, when they say yes, they say yes, because this is a word that was used. So let's look at this. You have the IHS. What exactly does that mean? IHS doesn't make sense in English, right? But let's look at this. So the H is called Heta, right? Is a conventional name for the historical Greek alphabet letter Eta. Okay, Eta minus the H, and several of its variants. When used in the original function of denoting the consonant, if you take off the H, take off the consonant, and it's Eta. It's pronounced Eta, even though it has an H in front of it. So you see the H is Eta. Now let's continue to look at this, because we saw IHS. Now, if you see to the far left, right here, the H is pronounced Eta. You see that up under it. So it's IES, which is literally East, where they get Sun Zeus. And you see this is in Rome, exactly where your Bibles come from. Okay? Exactly where the Council of Nicaea was. All this stuff comes from Rome. And you see they're clearly showing you IHS inside of a sun. Now, does that mean the Bible isn't literal? No, but let's keep going. Just wanted to show that to you again. And so people don't say, how do you know that's from Rome? I just wanted to show you that, the popes, they use this symbol, as you can see, pretty often. Really wasn't hard to look up and find. But as you can see, the sun disk behind Jesus' head, or Yeshua's head, or whoever you want to call him, the sun disk is always presented. So now let's talk about the sun as it makes its way through the celestial bodies. So if you go back and look at how time was being kept by Egyptians, it was being kept. And let me just preface by saying Egyptians is who Greeks studied from. So Greeks studied from Egypt. This is how they understood mathematics and language and all these things, and even understanding how to map the stars. So when you're looking at this and you take the year starting in September or late August, September, they started the year in Virgo. Okay, so Virgo. So this right here is the Virgo imagery. Let me see here if I can just go back just a little bit, because I want you to see this Virgo pretty clear. I want you to know what you're seeing. So the Virgo here, you see it's an M, and attached to that M appears to be a fish or wheat, is what wheat, because the Virgo sign is holding a sheaf of wheat. So let's just look at this. So let's say you're taking the Virgo, that M logo with that wheat, or what appears to be a fish on the actual logo of it. Virgin, the etymology of the word virgin here. So this is the etymology of the word virgin. When you look at this, it goes back to Latin for literally Virgo. You see it here, Virgo. So when you say the Virgo, if you go back before the word virgin was used, it was called Virgo, and Jesus was born of a virgin or of a Virgo. Okay, so this is when time was started, and you're gonna see more. Just let me just before I get carried away. So as we see now, Virgo traces back to virgin, and here you have virgin or the Virgo holding her baby. Now this is funny because remember we talked about that M. What you just saw was Mary. How about Buddha's mother's name is Maya? Okay, just continuing on. Just notice how these M's correlate with this Virgo. Okay, so you can see where it all comes from. So Maya, of course, is the mother of Buddha. Ma'at, of course, starts with a M, where we get the word mother today, mother or matter, in terms of matter takes up space. So in order to exist in this reality, of course, it has to be made of matter or ma'at. And this is where you get, of course, the 10 commandments that are stolen from the 42 laws or the 42 ideals of ma'at. But again, it starts with that M, ma'at. So you already have, that's the 42 laws or ideals of ma'at. I thought I'd throw that in there just for people who wondered what that was. So we have this Virgo now. This Virgo, now let me just preface with, you got Mary, the mother of Jesus. Then you have what they call Madonna, right? The Madonna in child. And then, you know, of course, mother starts with an M. Buddha's mother's name is Maya. Many researchers say that the original name for Aset or Isis was Mashe. So as you can see, this word goes all the way back to even water or dream, which literally means mare, or translates back to mare or Mary, which is where you get the words. These M words that you see are tied into the language. It's all hidden, but it's really right in front of you. And as you see, you'll be able to notice it when you see it. So of course, this right here is the Virgo. It looks like she's chopping up some wheat here. Here she is again, holding a sheaf of wheat. This is what you'll normally see. But this Virgo is holding a sheaf of wheat. Why is that important? The reason that is important is because Bethlehem, Jesus was born in Bethlehem, right? Now this is saying Beit Lam means house of meat in Hebrew. Now Bethlehem, or pronounced Bethlehem, right? Well, in Hebrew, there's more guttural sounds. It literally means house of bread. House of bread, Bethlehem. So Jesus was born in house of bread. Now zodiac signs are in houses, correct? So the Bible says that Jesus was born in Bethlehem. Bethlehem literally means house of bread. So the actual zodiac sign of the Virgo is holding a sheaf of wheat. So you're seeing the sun making its way through the constellations. Now you get the Libra. So the Libra comes after Virgo, of course. So after September, you've got October, right? And that's your month of the Libra. Libra represents the scales, or of course balance or judgment. Now this right here is Jesus making his way through, or the Son of God, S-O-N or S-U-N, however you want to look at it, making his way through the Bible or making his way through the celestial bodies. So now I've shown you how Jesus was born. Let's look at how Jesus comes through Libra now. Now Libra is judgment or balance, correct? I want you to notice this. Again, here's the Libra sign. Now, in the Bible, when they brought Jesus to Pilate, Pilate had to observe Jesus, right? It says here in, let me see here, I think that's Luke. Oh, I want to make sure that you guys see that. Yeah, Luke 23:13. It says, and Pilate, when he called together chief priests and rulers and the people, said to them, or said unto them, ye have brought this man unto me as one that perverteth the people. And behold, I, having examined him before you, have found no fault in this man, touching things whereof ye accused him. So Pilate observed Jesus or judged Jesus and couldn't find anything wrong with him. Why is that important? Let's look here. Because Libra represents judgment, right? I want you to see how this corresponds all the way back to Egypt when we talk about how the Aries came in on the video that I put on Facebook, showing you guys the ages. So that was the ages going backwards through the constellation. This right here is going forward as the Son of God makes his way through the constellations. So you see where it said that where Pilate had his deal here. Let's go here a little bit. Hang on. It says here in talking to the Israelites, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take according to this number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish. You see this? A male of the first year, ye shall take it out from the goats. Now, this goes on to tell the Israelites to examine this lamb and make sure it is perfect before they kill and consume it. This right here is why Jewish people to this day, when they practice Passover, they kill and eat a lamb. Okay, this was done in observance, okay, to worship Yahweh, which was the biblical holy days given to Israelites after God rescued them supposedly from Egypt. Now, today you will see Jewish people celebrate these days, and we call them Jewish holidays, but there were 12 tribes of Israel, keep in mind, and all 12 tribes of Israel were asked to celebrate in this manner. Now, Jewish tribes continue to carry those traditions out. Therefore, it's looked at as a Jewish tradition. But these are really what should be referred to as biblical holy days. Okay, so that's what I refer to them as, because they're not only meant for a Jewish tribe. Jewish tribes came from the tribe of Dan and I believe Benjamin. And there were 12 other tribes, keep in mind. So let's keep going. So now they're examining this lamb every single year. And they find, even in the Bible or in Hebrew, it tells you on the 5th of Nisan is when you are to take this lamb and examine it. You see here, Nisan translates back to Aries. Or in Hebrew, it literally means fifth month. So like in Hebrew, they didn't say January, February, March. It was more like first month, second month, third month, fourth month, but in Hebrew. So Nisan is 5th month. Now, let's look at counting from the celestial signs to Nisan and see if it lands in Aries. If the year started in September, okay, that's September, okay? So let's go, so the first month will be September, October, November, December, January, February. End of February, I believe the 22nd starts Aries. So the 5th month of Nisan, the lamb will be judged and will be perfect and be crucified. This is why Easter and all this stuff falls right in there. Now, this is celebrated in March, correct? Easter. So you see how it's all set up in there. Well, let's just continue on. The next zodiac sign after the Libra, of course, is Scorpio. Now, there was a guy, he was like, man, I wish you would have kept going because I'm a Scorpio. I want to see what's going on. So hopefully he's on, and we're going to find out today what Scorpio is. So when Jesus makes his way through the Bible, or when the Son of God, S-U-N, makes his way through the celestial signs, here's what appears to happen. So, of course, Scorpio is represented by a scorpion with his tail already raised in a striking position. Let's look at this because I saw something that just blew my mind. I actually discovered this today. Scorpio starts, of course, October 24th to November the 22nd. So now we're in October going through November. The symbol, of course, is the scorpion. But it says here that, let's see, let me go down a little bit because it says the lucky color, or the color associated with crap, y'all know what I'm talking about, is going to be burgundy. So you see this color here, and you're going to see it's a couple more colors, but it's always this dark crimson red type color. So that I just looked at that and I was like, wow. So all I did was just Google Judas, right? And I want you to see what I found. Now, of course, this isn't the actual picture of Judas. It's art. But why are they painting him this way? All right, so just consider that. Nobody's ever found Judas, as he doesn't exist. But if you believe in Judas, this isn't his real picture. It's a painting. Just want to be clear. But someone painted it this way. And when someone takes the time to do it this way, you have to consider why. This isn't the actual picture of Judas. Here we go.
I think Lorenzo's in here now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is Judas, of course, kissing Jesus.
You got some feedback going on, just to let you know, Lorenzo.
I'll pause for a second so you get that right. So we know that Judas supposedly kissed Jesus by saying, you know, you will know him by who I kiss. So that's how you're going to know who Jesus is. I'm going to kiss him. Well, a lot of preachers today preach that Jesus wasn't popular and he definitely had a familiar looking face. It means that he fit into the crowd. He didn't stand out at all. So a lot of people will say, well, Judas literally had to kiss Jesus in order for people to recognize him. And that's how much Jesus flew under the radar. But no, that just doesn't make sense. Think about this. Jesus fed a multitude with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, right? Jesus walked on water. Jesus healed Lazarus in front of people. Jesus preached in front of people. His miracles were performed in front of people, so to speak. You know, at least that's what the Bible that was written, or the writings about him that came decades after he supposedly died say. Okay, but if we're talking in the natural context of the literature, if it was true, you know, Jesus would be well known, correct? He wouldn't be somebody who needed to be pointed out. So this is all symbolic and allegory. So when it doesn't make sense, you have to think about this stuff. So Judas kisses Jesus. Let's just look at these pictures of Judas and how it relates with this color, red, burgundy, crimson, and all that good stuff. This is a picture of Judas. I obviously didn't create this myself. I just found it online, but you know, it doesn't mean anything, but let's just take a look. This is Judas, of course, kissing Jesus again, dark crimson, burgundy, whatever you want to call it, dark red. Here we go again. This is Judas walking away with his money, looking back at the crucifixion like, yeah, I got a couple dollars. Here's Judas again. Look at the color of his robe. Even the hair I look at in Judas's face is made to be red. So it's like the artists who are doing this, they understand the kind of the theme or the motif, I should say. A motif is like when you're doing something to be symbolic of something else. So when these people are painting these images, they're using the color symbolism and everything that they need to use because they themselves understand that this stuff is allegory. Let's just check this out. I hear you, caller. Here's Judas again. Look at him. Look how he's dressed. Just Google pictures of Judas. I just wanted to bring it back to that one again. You see the sun behind Jesus' head. We think that's anointing, but that's really just showing you that it's the sun. Let's see here. This is talking about the Scorpio. It says it's an astrological sign ruled by Pluto, which is actually no longer considered a planet. Scorpio's many color meanings include transformation, giving birth, and also intensifying. Thus, when you think of Scorpio, think of colors like blood red, crimson, black, maroon, burgundy, and other exciting, intense colors. And you notice the dark colors and all these things used when making Judas or painting him. It's symbolic, or at least that's what it appears to be. We don't want to make our verdict yet. I want to keep the show, I guess, on edge a little bit, suspenseful. This right here, I found it's a story of Orion. There's a story of Orion, and Orion gets stung by the scorpion, and then in turn gets killed by the Sagittarius or by the archer. And you see this picture right here of course, the scorpion stinging Orion, and it's even said that Orion fears the scorpion. And the reason they say that is because when you look into the heavenly bodies or into the skies, you can see these depictions of what appears to be a scorpion if you connect the dots, or what appears to be Osiris. And the way that the sun, or the way it looks they appear to never really reach each other. But of course, because it seems like Osiris kind of goes down before he meets the scorpion, which is why the scorpion kills Osiris. Okay, this is why Jesus is kissed so he can die during the winter solstice, so to speak. So here you have this archer here about to kill the scorpion after he kills Orion. And this is just another tale. This is a Greek tale, but it's also showing you how it was copied from the stars. And it says here, this is a picture of what appears to be, the scorpion with the tail raised, of course, or the 2 claws. And then you have what appears to be what they call Orion here with the sword drawn back. And because the way Orion goes down while Scorpio's coming up, he kills Orion. So you see it here. Here it is again. I just looked up Orion and Scorpion. As you can see, they're already adding in the Archer every time because that's part of the story. So I just want y'all to understand I'm not making this happen. It's just simply just a little bit of research I've done. But now here you have the Sagittarius, and it's showing it aiming at the Scorpion because, you know, Sagittarius, of course, comes after Scorpio. You know, so as the sun goes between Scorpio and Sagittarius, it drops down. So this is why the you know, the Scorpion bit Orion or Judas kissed Jesus. But then Sagittarius kills the Scorpion because, of course, the Scorpion goes down as Sagittarius is rising. So that's why the Scorpion always ends up killing, the Sagittarius always ends up killing the Scorpion. So here's the Sagittarius logos. And I'm just going to pause it for a second because if you can see this, you can see what appears to be a cross. Now, again, I look at this like this, guys. We understand this was an instrument of torture by Rome, and that could have very well been why they added it into this book. But it could have been a very good tool to add to this book simply because it does fit the Sagittarius logo as well. We do understand that this character Jesus never existed. He was never crucified on this cross. So don't try to coincide the stories where you don't need to. Look at it with an open mind, I guess. I say that because we have to understand what research is. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard me say this. I may have said it once or twice, but we have to assume that people have already searched for us, and we don't have all the information. Some of us, we realize we've been lied to. We can't trust anybody, and so we just can't take what somebody has brought back to us. So I look at that word research as in you're going to search again. So you're going to go out and try to connect the dots yourself. So what I like and what I use my platform for is to bring together puzzle pieces and see how they fit. So let's look at this and let's just see how it fits. So if you turn this upside down, of course, and you point it arrow side down, that would exactly make a crucifix. And this is the Sagittarius logo. And right after Jesus was judged, he was crucified, correct? After Jesus was kissed by the Scorpion and judged, and they overlap. So if you take like Apis, the bull for the golden calf, and how the lambs were killed and the blood was put over the Israelites' doors before they worshipped Apis. So it's still showing you that it was going into Aries still while it was using Apis. So even though the Scorpio comes after, Libra, Jesus was technically judged after he was kissed. You can see how they are overlapping, showing you that next is coming the Scorpio. All right, so let me go ahead and play. All right, so I just wanted to throw in a picture here of that crucifixion or that cross, Roman cross, so you can see how that looks like a Sagittarius logo. Next after Sagittarius is going to be Capricorn. So Capricorn, of course, is represented by what appears to be like a goat, half mermaid, top body of a goat, half body of a fish. So that's the Capricorn logo. Capricorn is an earth sign, I might add. In zodiac, you have what appears to be like cardinal signs, and then what looks like mutable signs. Mutable signs are not the densest, but cardinal signs are the absolute strongest of the signs, and Capricorn is the strongest earth sign. It's a mutable sign. And so I'm looking at this now, and when I look at these zodiacs, I start thinking about the Bible that I've read for so many years, and I'm starting to think how when Jesus was on his cross, he's supposed to go to hell, right? And I'm thinking, wait a second, Capricorn is an earth sign. And then I start getting my mind really starts getting going, because I'm starting thinking like on the zodiacal chart for the human body, Pisces represents the feet. So 2 feet, 2 fish. Jesus walked on water, and Jesus is the Lamb of God. And a lot of people say that Jesus and Lucifer are the same person. And when you look at the literature, you can see it. Jesus is called the bright and morning star. Lucifer is called the son of the morning. I got you, Josh. So you can see the actual examples or the parallels. It's wild, but it's showing you Jesus walked on water because he represents the fish. He also fed a multitude with 2 fish. All those good things. So we got here. So let's look at this. We got the Capricorn now, the goat head. Capricorn. Now let's look at this. But for those who haven't heard of the winter solstice, the winter solstice happens on the 21st of every year, right? Or around that time. What happens on the 21st, or what happens on the winter solstice, is it goes further away from the earth, or it appears to be further away from the earth. The nights are longer and the day is shorter because the sun is further away. Obviously, night is going to last longer than it would day. So just think about this. Let's see here. I was trying to catch a comment and it left before I could see it. Man, I hate that. So anyway, the winter solstice. It appears to be farther from the sun. I mean, farther from the earth. So it appears to be dying. And this is the winter solstice. And this is why we celebrate Christmas. Okay, this is why the sun dies, and on the 25th, it rises up a degree. So for the next 3 days, it appears to be going down. The sun does, and then on the 25th, it appears to rise a degree, giving a peak, showing that it has risen again. And this is why the sun rises. I swear to God. So you see this December, the 21st is the winter solstice. Watch this. When Jesus dies on the cross, the winter solstice starts the 21st. Second, third, fourth, fifth day, Jesus rises, right? Or the third day, Jesus rose again. So now as you see this, you're looking at the winter solstice, which starts on the 21st. And when Jesus died, he went to hell. Watch this. Isn't this peculiar here? For those who are saying, Kevin, you're just making this stuff up. Look at this. Capricorn. Under the tropical zodiac, the sun transits this area from December 22nd to July the 19th. So the winter solstice is on the 21st. Capricorn starts the 22nd, the day after or the day of Jesus' death or going to hell. Isn't this crazy? The Capricorn is an earth sign. It comes immediately following the Sagittarius, where Orion is said to be, redeemed by or revenged by killing the Scorpion because he killed Orion. And then now you have Jesus getting kissed by a scorpion. And check this out. When a scorpion stings you, it looks like a kiss. So this is why Judas kissed him. And I'll think about this. Judas is a backstabber, right? Or a backbiter. What does a scorpion do? Right? They sting you with their back tail, right? Or they bite you with, or they stab you with their back tail. A backstabber or a backbiter. And it's crazy because we call Judas these things. It's so funny how the zodiac appears to be, weaved into what we look at as holy scriptures or historical scriptures, but it in fact appears not to be, so let me just continue. So we're still talking about the Capricorn. So as you can see the Capricorn here. Now, isn't that funny how we looked at the Capricorn, it's like with the goat head, and now we're looking at what they call the Baphomet, right hand exposed. Okay, we're looking at the Baphomet, which is used in a lot of sun cultures, right? Many people associate it with the Illuminati, whatever. But many of you understand what the Baphomet is, or you understand at least the goat head and recognize the goat head is looked at as something evil. So this is the Baphomet. So the Baphomet, I want you to look at this belt that it has on here, and look at the serpents climbing the staff here with the small circle at the top. But also look at the background of the belt, that really thick, wide WrestleMania looking belt he has on. Look at that. All right, so we're gonna let it zoom in so you can see where I'm going. So you may want to say that there is nothing in common with positive and negative or polarizing energy. But when you look at what appears to be Satan, you always seem to what appears to be God. Look at Nick Chambers said Kundalini. You are absolutely right. Look here at the background. You see this red circle in the background with these little white dots all over it. But then you see this serpent climbing this tree, right? And then you see the tree actually carved or actually being shaped like a circle, just like it was on the Baphomet's belt. You see that? So you see that with the artists, whenever they take time to do these motifs, they making sure that they're keeping within tradition. So you see that the top of it there is the ball. You see the staff going down with the Kundalini, or the serpent that convinced Eve to get this fruit and give it to Adam is present as well. Okay, so you see Adam and Eve. So for anybody who's saying that's not Adam and Eve, I don't know who else that can possibly be. All right, so obviously it's not the real Adam and Eve, but there was no real Adam and Eve, so I think we're safe here. Let's just go.